This is the UGREEN NAS DXP4800 Plus. Now, what is a NAS? A NAS is a network attached storage device that allows you to basically connect a hard drive to your network that you can then access from any device, your phone, your TV, your computer, whatever. And you can put anything on it: movies, files, music, photos, anything that can be stored digitally goes on your NAS, and then you can access it. So these things are really, really handy. And on top of that, they are a secure and cost efficient storage solution compared to what you would pay to store your data in the cloud, like, say, Google Drive or something like that. This device, without the hard drives, retails for $700. Now, you compare that with Google Drive, a 2 terabyte solution costs $10 a month. That's a never ending, indefinite, perpetual cost that you would pay every single month to store only 2 terabytes of data, which sounds like a lot, except this device is capable of holding up to 112 terabytes of data if you put hard drives in it with that much capacity. Now, in my case, I have four 4 terabyte hard drives in the 4 bays here. Now, I'll get to that a little bit later. So what does this thing look like on the outside? Well, you've got the 4 hard drive bays. Now, these, when I first got it pulled out of the box and I was trying to remove the plate so that I could install the hard drives, I could not figure out how to get these things to open up, how to release. Finally, I was kind of getting a little frustrated, and my wife said, "Well, did you read the instructions?" So I looked in the manual, and yes, I just hadn't been pressing hard enough on these little tabs here. And so that released it, and so I was able to install the hard drives. But that aside, it's actually very, very easy. This thing is very, very simple. You have the 4 hard drive bays, you've got the power button, you have an SD card slot, you have a couple USB ports right here, and then on the back, we have a magnetic fan cover. Has an internal fan to keep it nice and cool, and that just snaps into place from the magnetic grill cover there. We have an HDMI port, we have 3 USB ports, and then it has dual LAN ports. So this is for redundancy. So if by some chance one of the LAN ports fails, it'll fail over to the other one. One of the ports, LAN 1, is a 10 gigabit port, and then the second one is a 2.5 gigabit port. And then we have the reset button and then the power port. And that's it. That's all there is to it. It's very, very simple. Now, as I mentioned, this thing is capable of storing up to 112 terabytes of data. That's a very large number. What exactly does that mean? That is the equivalent of 76,000 movies, assuming that each movie is 1.5 gigabytes in size. Imagine that, 76,000 movies. Now, for the hard drives, they have a pretty extensive list of hard drives that are compatible with this UGREEN NAS. And they are from Seagate, Western Digital, and Toshiba. And there is a pretty, like I say, a pretty long list of hard drives that are compatible with this device. Now, in my case, storing movies is pretty much the primary function that I use this NAS for. As you can see here, I've got a lot of my movies in this cabinet system here. Storing movies physically, I like physical media. I like owning the discs, but I also like streaming them. And so by having a solution where I can store the movie digitally on my NAS and then access it from various devices in my home, that situation is great. So here in my main theater, I have my Zadoo here. I stream from the NAS through the Zadoo and into my home theater. So to get the video files onto the NAS is very simple. It's very easy. You can upload them from any computer that's connected to your home network. You can also do it from your phone. I can shoot a video and then very easily upload it from my phone to the NAS, and it is quick and seamless. Now for me, I use Plex for streaming my videos on my network. Now, the great thing about Plex is that it also has a remote accessibility function. So I store all of my movies on the NAS here, and then I loaded the Plex server software onto the NAS. The NAS runs Linux, so it was very straightforward to load Plex onto the NAS. I would have preferred that they have the capability to natively run Plex, meaning just download the app onto it. They have Jellyfin available to do that, but not Plex. So I would prefer maybe at some point in the future they have that functionality. But for now, like I say, you can just load it just like you would on any Linux computer or Linux server. You just load Plex on there and now it runs. And now I can stream my movies through Plex on my home network, but I can also do it remotely from anywhere in the world where I have an internet connection. So I can access my movies from this device that's sitting here in my house from literally anywhere. One of the cool things about the photo storage solution is that it has an AI function that allows you to use an AI training model to basically teach it to identify certain elements in your pictures. So just for an example, I uploaded a bunch of pictures of home theaters onto this NAS, and then I went through and then I selected those photos and I trained the model to identify home theater. And so it's able to use that to quickly access and catalog and organize your photos. So you could set it up to where you wanted it to be able to recognize photos of you or photos of your pet or photos of your car. And then you could then go through and it can search and categorize your photos because it'll be able to identify those elements that you have trained it to identify. And this runs all locally on the NAS. Now, in addition to being able to classify your photos, you are also able to classify your videos. So you can store all of your videos on here along with audio files and then classify them basically however you want. The other nice thing is you are then able to access those audio files and video files from your TV, your phone, your laptop, wherever. You can play them right out of the app. So you can just navigate to the file, navigate to the video, and then just open it up on your phone, your laptop, etc. And then once it's playing, it has subtitles. It has the search function. So, you've got the scroll bar. So you can basically navigate through the video like you would on any other player and give you total access to it. You also have the option to be able to download the file from the NAS to your local device. So after you navigate to the file, over on the right-hand side, you see like the three little dots. You can select that, and then it'll bring up several options. And then within that, there's the download. So then, say you have a movie or a video that is stored on your NAS, you can then download it directly to your phone, your laptop, whatever. So that's really, really handy. Like I mentioned, this has the capability to hold up to 112 terabytes of total storage. Now, in my case, I have four 4 terabyte hard drives. So that's a total of 16 terabytes. However, one of the great things about a NAS like this is its redundancy and backup capabilities. So what I have done is I have configured this NAS in a RAID 5 configuration. What does that mean? What it means is that though there are 16 terabytes of total data on all four of these hard drives, it's actually only able to use 12 terabytes for total storage. And then the extra 4 terabytes is used to create a backup. Think of it as like a backup where if one of these hard drives failed, I would be able to remove the failed hard drive, plug in a new hard drive, and it would be able to completely rebuild all of my original files. So I have redundancy and fail-safe, so that in the case of a hard drive failure, I'm able to restore all of my files. So while I have 16 terabytes of total storage, I only in reality have only 12 terabytes of usable storage due to that extra storage that's needed for the backup. So that's the simplest way to think of it. So that's why I prefer the RAID 5 configuration. There's a lot of different RAID configurations, but for me, in my situation, the RAID 5 it strikes the best balance between redundancy and maximizing the most use of your total storage. Now, one of the really cool features on this NAS is the backup functionality. It is very, very simple to set up the backup and sync functionality. You go into the apps, it runs natively, so you just hit install, and the backup and sync function app installs, and then you open it up. And I ran it from my phone, and I was able to create an automatic backup of all of the photos on my phone. So photos and videos. And you just hit backup and it automatically syncs with your device, and it keeps a running backup of everything that's on your photos on your phone. And it's really cool because once the photos or the files or the videos or whatever you have on the NAS are there, you can easily access it from your phone or your tablet or your computer or whatever. I'm able to very quickly from my phone just go into the UGREEN app, go to my files, and then there they are. It's organized in folders. You can open it up and you can play videos straight from there. So like I store my YouTube videos on this NAS, and I can open up one of those videos and just start playing it from my phone. I could do the same thing from a computer. So what do I think of this NAS? I am really happy with it. I think this is a perfect solution for what I have been needing. Previously, I had been running a computer that I just running all the time in my storage room, and I would access my Plex server and my Plex movies through that. I would stream movies over my Zadoo from that computer. But now I have this NAS, and it just runs, and it's quiet. It doesn't use much power, and I'm able to access all of that directly from this NAS. So, I mean, like you can see, I've got a fair number of movies. Like, it's not a ton of movies, but I've got quite a few movies, and I've loaded them all on this device. And now I can access them and stream them. And it's like having my own George Flicks. It's really, really handy. So yeah, I am really happy with this UGREEN NAS. The only thing that I would probably change, as I mentioned before, is I would prefer to have Plex be available to run as an available app, just already available on there. I did have to go into the command line, the Linux command line, and actually install Plex, but you can figure out how to do that. It's actually not that difficult. But yeah, it's a really cool device. And right now, actually, it is on sale, 15% off. So I have a link in the description box. Click that link and you will get 15% off on this device. So yeah, if you're looking for a solution to store videos, this I highly recommend. So check it out, and thanks for watching.